Chair of Habitat for Humanity Northumberland, and today we're to celebrate the announcement of Trillium grant. And I'm happy to have David Piccini, our MPP, here, and he will make that announcement more fully in a few minutes' time. But we're going to begin with a land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that Northumberland County is located in the traditional and treaty territory of the Nishnawbe, Mississauga, and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations, which include Groove Lake, Hiawatha, Alderville, Scugog Island, Rama, Beausoleil, and Georgina Island First Nations. We respectfully acknowledge that the Williams Treaties First Nations have been stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters, and that today remain vigilant over their health and integrity for generations to come. We are all treaty people. And so I think now I'll ask David to come up and make the actual announcement for us.
Thanks, David. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, thanks, everyone. I just feel these sorts of opportunities, it's important to acknowledge leaders in our community. And I'd like to thank you, David, for the work that you do, board and volunteers, and to everybody at Habitat for Humanity. Such a remarkable organization. Now more than ever, I think people in our community are feeling the pressures of affordability. And as society grapples with that, we need leaders, not just to provide affordable, attainable home ownership and play a role in that, but to be active voices in our community. As someone involved, obviously, in the political sphere, we know there's many people who are active in providing that feedback, whether it be a meeting to discuss inclusionary zoning, a meeting to advocate for better public policy, to promote affordable, attainable home ownership. At every one of those meetings, Megan's there, and always active and involved. But what I really like and what sets you apart, Megan, and the team here, is that you get the job done, and you're go-getters. And I think we're very lucky to have all of you in our community. And as someone who sees this, sometimes from afar, sometimes more directly, I just want to thank you on behalf of the Government of Ontario for what you do. Resilient Communities Fund, and this specific fund, was an important piece of our government, having been involved in those discussions when the pandemic first hit, and we're wondering, are we getting COVID from the money we're touching? Are we getting COVID from shaking hands? An important discussion we had was, how do we maintain the bedrock of our community, an important organization, nonprofits. Resilient Communities Fund has been there for these organizations like yours and has been an important envelope. Obviously incredibly oversubscribed, as so many are in the province of Ontario. I know this has helped rebuild and reconfigure office space and support expanded program delivery. So thank you for the work that you do. I think this is a vital fund to support the bedrock and critical organizations in our community. And as we look long term to the 1.5 million homes the government's committed to building, to work that we can do with official plans right now, and work you can do to provide the dignity of home ownership, one of the most special things we get to do as public servants is to join you for the dedication ceremonies and to see the impact that this has on families. Ultimately, that's why we serve. It's for people. It's a people business. And I just want to thank you for giving people the dignity of home ownership. Every morning when I walk Max, I walk past the homes in Port Hope, and thank you. Thank you for being there for our community, and to all of you for the work that you do each and every day. We're lucky to have you. Thank you.
So, as David mentioned, the Resilient Communities Fund grant that we received allowed us to rebuild our offices here. And so the $26,500 did more than just rebuild offices, though. It did three things for us. The first is safety. COVID-19 changed the way that we work. Everyone knows that. And as you mentioned, when we first started trying to come back to the office, it was scary. We were in a shared office space, which had worked before generally, but now all of a sudden, how many people can be in one space? Do you need to be masked? Are you able to do your job when you do it that way? Additionally, as we continue to look at the future of COVID, what happens if there is an outbreak? if we're all in one big space, what happens? Is there a risk that we might have to shut down the whole organization if there's an outbreak? So the ability to know that people have safe spaces to come and work in and know that the spread of infectious disease is much more limited is huge. Secondly is stakeholder service and professionalism. As we grew in our old space in this building, when we first started we were a smaller team and we delivered different programs and we didn't have a lot of space for people to meet privately with clients or to meet with a new volunteer or a donor. So there was a lot of juggling. There was a lot of challenges in that, and so this new space allows us to do better client service, to provide better support to our donors and to our volunteers, and to provide a little more privacy when we are meeting with people. And finally, it's a holistic and productive space, is what I would like to say. Our workspace are geared towards the position responsibilities of our different staff and volunteers that come in and work in our office, which allows for productivity, better collaboration, and an opportunity to really do what we're all trying to do, which is effective program delivery. This is all about building and maintaining affordable housing. Everything that we did to renovate this office is so that we can do it better and we can increase what we can do. So, thank you to the Ontario Trillium Foundation for this support, and we are inviting everyone to come through and see our renovated office space. So, a huge round of applause from this small mighty group for OTF. And I promised Lori from Trillium that we would get a picture.
Yes.
So TJ David. Yeah, so we have, before we had three office spaces in this entire space. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the exact same space.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So we have our construction manager, construction manager. He gets a little cubby here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That sliding door. Nice.
This is me. It's not clean.
Smile.
And then
Lots of
Melissa. And then our family services department got to have space, which they often had to share, which was a challenge. And then our director of construction. And then our bookkeeper and our volunteer. Yeah. Because were you here before?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
it was
met,
like,
remember?
yeah. So we couldn't believe it when we came in and it was done, that it was
Yeah.
the same space.
Yeah, it's nice. So it's great.
Yeah. And then Amy's space here with the window. Can I serve you?